It was an Allure Best of Beauty Award winner. So clearly I am in the wrong here. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So it's time for a foundation roundup. This is where I do quick foundation reviews on new foundations as well as some new to me foundations that I've really been wanting to try and that you've really wanted to get my thoughts on. So I have 6 foundations here that I'm going to review for you, and I'm going to go from worst to best, which I didn't do in my last foundation roundup. So that is something new I'm going to try. Let me know if you are liking this foundation roundup thing that I've been doing. I know a lot of you are wanting more concise foundation reviews and thoughts, and I think this is working out, so let me know below. Now, just in case you are not familiar with how I review foundations, I don't do first impressions. I try foundations out several days, sometimes a couple of weeks, depending on what's going on with the foundation, with different primers, different powders, using different methods to apply the foundation. I just like to get a good grasp on how these foundations may or may not work. For my skin type, if it doesn't work for me, I at least try to give you guys a good idea of a skin type that I think it will work for. I have oily combination skin, meaning that I get oily in my T-zone, but I do tend to get some surface dehydration around the perimeter of my face during certain times of year or if I'm trying new skincare. I am in my mid-40s. I'm 44. I live in a very hot and humid climate most of the year. However, right now it's winter. It's a little bit colder than normal, and my skin is pretty sensitive. I have rosacea. I react very easily to certain ingredients. I think that pretty much covers everything. So let's go ahead and get started. If you're not subscribed to my channel, hit that subscribe button, become part of the family. Okay, keep in mind that some of these foundations I have seen other YouTubers really love. They clearly have different skin types than I do. And some of these that I don't like, you may love, and that's okay. We are all different. We have different skin types. We use different skincare, different primers. We live in different climates. All of that makes a huge difference in how these foundations sit and wear on our skin. So coming in at number 6 is a foundation that I really thought I was gonna like. And I don't know why I thought I was gonna like it, because it does have the word luminous in the name. I don't typically do well with luminous or radiant foundations because as someone with oily combination skin, I make my own luminosity as the day goes on. However, one of my top foundations in this video does have the word radiance in it. So you just never know. This is the Anastasia Luminous Foundation, and I just hoped this would work. This is a water-resistant liquid foundation that creates a luminous natural finish and is long-wearing even without setting powder. Now, that said, I have to set every foundation I wear because it will slide off my face if I don't. It's supposed to give medium natural coverage, and it's supposed to be good for all skin types: normal, dry, combination, and oily. It says it blurs any imperfection, including discoloration and unevenness, without caking or masking the skin's natural radiance. It is $38 for 1 ounce of product, and it comes in 50 shades. The shade that I picked is 290C, which was a little bit dark for me. So I'll go ahead and say the shade is not perfect. I found that it took a little bit for me to blend it out, but once it blended out, it did give medium coverage and it looked really nice, and it did give a radiant finish and kind of just a softer radiant appearance after I set it, which lasted about an hour, and then it got super greasy really quickly. It just did not look good on my pores at all, and it just settled into the skin really badly. I could feel it on my skin once my oils started to mix with the foundation. It started to feel really heavy on my skin, and it started to break apart on my cheeks, my nose, and my chin. And I also felt like before I set it was very tacky on my skin. So even if I had normal skin, I just felt like I would still have had to set it because I'm not oily on the perimeters of my face, but it just felt really sticky, tacky to me. So yeah, this one just was not a winner for me. I do definitely think that if you have normal to dry skin, this could be a great foundation for you. I have kind of a soft glow going here because of my phone that I'm holding in front of me to have more information about the product. It actually works out really well because it's getting to be evening time and I don't want my ring light on right now because one of these foundations I do have on my face, and I want you guys to be able to see it without being blown out by the ring light. So this next one, a lot of people are really liking. Unfortunately, I am not one of those people. And I have talked to other beauty content creators that are not liking this foundation either. Maybe it's because they loved the old version like I did. I don't know. But the new version, yeah, not so much. So number 5 for me is the Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Foundation. It is $47 for 1 ounce of product. There are 30 shades, and I was in the shade 320 Pine, and I found that shade to be a near perfect match. If you are looking for my foundation shade matches, I have them listed and updated on my blog and linked down in my description box for you. This is a weightless foundation that synchronizes with skin and self-refreshes nonstop for an up to 24-hour just applied look and flawless finish. It gives medium natural coverage, and it is good for normal dry combination oily skin. It is long wearing. It's supposed to resist sweat, oil, and facial movements to maintain a just applied flawless finish. It's also supposed to adapt to your skin tone and texture so that you find your perfect match. And it was an Allure Best of Beauty Award winner. So clearly I am in the wrong here, but we'll talk about why I don't like it. So first of all, the original Shiseido Synchro Skin Foundation was just one of my favorite skin-like foundations. I found that it covered really well. It looked like skin. It was just really, really beautiful. I did find that the new version, this self-refreshing one, blended out super, super easily. It was buildable to medium coverage and gave a really natural finish, but it was not skin-like. You could definitely tell that you were wearing makeup. Like, I wasn't gonna fool anyone into thinking I wasn't wearing foundation, even though it looked natural. You know what I mean? It didn't look like skin. The original gave kind of a silky demi-matte finish, and it was really long-lasting. The new version I find to be pretty dewy, and I found the original to be very lightweight, whereas I could feel this one on the skin, and I don't like that. I do not like to feel my foundation on my skin. Now, it was very pretty upon initial application, but as the day went on and my oils started coming through, it just was kind of a disaster. It didn't settle well into my skin at all. My pores were emphasized, and I just got shiny very quickly, frequently throughout the day with this one, as opposed to the other one. So once again, a foundation that was great was replaced or improved, and yet for me, it just definitely was not an improvement. Now, if you have maybe normal to dry skin, this may be a great foundation for you. For me, with my oily combo skin, it just was not good. So this was number 5 out of 6 for me, unfortunately. All right, so I did have to put my ring light on. You guys got to see kind of what my face looked like before the ring light came on. And you know, you can still see what's going on. So if you have followed my channel for any length of time or followed my foundation reviews, you probably know my history with stick foundations. It's not really good. So it's no surprise that this next product is not in the top for me, although it's not terrible. So I would say that while this is number 4, I don't hate it. So this is the MAC Studio Fix Soft Matte Foundation Stick that you really can't see because it's against my dresser, which is black. So that is what this looks like, and it has been confirmed that I am in fact still a MAC NC25. They tried a couple of different shades of this, and NC25 is what it is. It matches me perfectly, and that was in the fall, not the summer. I'm a little bit darker in the summer. So it is $31 for 0.32 ounces of product, which makes sense. Stick foundations always have less than liquid foundations in them. They're more concentrated. There are 33 shades in this foundation. It claims to perfect your skin tone. You can contour your curves and highlight your features and achieve medium coverage that is buildable. It has a natural shine-free matte finish that lasts for 24 hours. It's instantly hydrating, non-poring, non-caking, non-streaking, non-settling, non-creasing, and it's good for all skin types. So that's a lot of claims for a stick foundation. In my opinion, I very rarely come across a stick foundation that is truly going to be good for all skin types. So I'll just say that right off the bat. I found that this blended very, very easily. Sometimes with stick foundations, they can be a little tough to blend out. I do not use a brush with stick foundations. I use a sponge, whether it's damp or dry, and I'll either apply the stick straight to my skin or I'll apply it to the sponge and then bounce the sponge on my face. I did it both ways and I liked it both ways. This does give buildable light to solid medium coverage, so I really did like that, especially using it with a sponge. And it gave a beautiful demi-matte finish, and it really did blur my pores. It was really, really pretty on the skin. I felt like my face looked really soft and pretty, and it didn't feel tacky at all. It felt very lightweight yet hydrating at the same time. However, as with most stick foundations, within a couple of hours, it started getting kind of oily and started wearing off on certain areas of my face. But on days where I maintained it a little bit more, you know, I just kind of got ahead of that, it was maintainable. So if I was aware and blotted kind of before I started to get really oily, it did look pretty throughout the day. It was just a little bit more maintenance than what I like in a foundation. So I do think that this foundation, despite saying that it is a matte foundation, I think it's better for combination skin to almost dry skin, because it's really not super matte once it settles into the skin. It gives more of a just natural radiant finish, which is odd because of the name. And when I started looking at reviews after I had already reached my verdict, I started seeing the same thing come up over and over. It's not a bad foundation, it's just a little more high maintenance than what I typically like. Number 3 is the foundation that I have on my face today, and it is a foundation that you guys, a lot of you, have been asking me to try for a long time. This is the Missha Perfect Cover BB Cream. I am in the shade 23, and I do have some things to say about the shade. This is what it looks like on my skin after wearing it for several hours. It is $22, and I am showing on the Missha website, which is where I ended up ordering it from because they were having a special, and I got it for I think $15. They had 6 shades, but I've seen some other websites have other shades. I don't know. I'm very confused about how many shades there actually are in this foundation, but on the manufacturer website, there are 6 shades. This is supposed to pair makeup and skincare, as BB creams often do, and it's supposed to brighten skin tone, give care to wrinkles, prevent signs of aging, and heal blemishes while providing excellent coverage. So I find it to be kind of thick when you first pump it out, and it does have kind of a lotion scent. I don't even know how to explain it. I guess you can kind of smell the sunscreen in it, but it's not overwhelming. I just smell it. But when I did look in the ingredient list, there is added fragrance into this product, which can aggravate a lot of people. It also does have mineral oil and talc, but at the same time, it also has ingredients that are good for the skin, like ceramides, hyaluronic acids, squalane, things like that. So it's got some good skincare in it, but it also has some things in it that can aggravate the skin. I preferred to apply this with my fingers and kind of blend it out and then just kind of tap it in. I felt like it performed better on pores that way. It's very lightweight on the skin and comfortable to wear. However, I feel like the shade is just really gray. It's very strange. Now, I saw some people, when they got shade 23 and saw how gray it was, they then purchased shade 27, which was darker and yellow, and then they mixed the two. But then that kind of defeats the purpose of the cost saving with it, which makes it $44. However, you do get 1.7 ounces of product here. It says it's high coverage. Now, I feel like it covers well, but I would not call it high coverage or full coverage. I would call it more medium, close to medium full, that you can shear out if you use, say, a damp sponge or you apply it sparingly. What's weird to me about this product is that as much as people say they love it so much, and as much as it does, you know, it blends out easily, it covers decently, I feel like that brightening aspect is because it has that gray kind of whitening tone. I don't know. I just feel like the shade selection is a little hard. I have mixed feelings on this because the shade that's supposed to match my skin level, my skin tone level, is not yellow enough. And I feel like I have to spend some time correcting with bronzer to make my face not look gray compared to my neck. And it just never evens out on its own. So I have to spend time fixing that. It's a little hard to remove. I don't know what it is about this that makes it sink so much into the skin that it is the hardest foundation or BB cream I've ever used to remove. Even with the excellent makeup removers that I use, this is really, really hard to get off. I just feel like it just sinks into the skin so much. I'm questioning the fragrance and the mineral oil for my skin. If I use this daily, would it aggravate my rosacea? I don't know. And it does make me kind of oily. I do have to touch up with it more than I like during the day. I felt like I was gonna like it a little bit more than I do. I'm a little disappointed. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. I can definitely see where people with more normal to dry skin, again, there's a theme here so far, would really like this because of how great it feels on the skin and because of the skincare ingredients that are in it and because it does kind of blur the fine lines and blur the pores nicely if you can find your shade. That's the big thing, if you could find your shade. I gotta say, it was hard for me to choose between number 2 and number 1, so it could be a tie. I'm not sure. I really like them both for different reasons. This is the Stila Hide and Chic foundation. You guys have been wanting me to test this out, and I finally did. The reason why I have 2 is because I ordered medium 2 and tried it, and it's just a little bit too light for me. So then I got medium 3 when I was in Ulta the other day, thinking it was going to be perfect, and it's too dark. So I have to mix the 2 to get the perfect shade. So that's kind of a ding for this foundation with me, is that there's quite a difference between these 2 shades and there's nothing in between. So at $39 for this, I really need a shade match because I have to have 2 of them to get my shade. There are 30 shades in this foundation and it is a 1 ounce bottle. This is a liquid foundation that offers discreet, covert coverage with a featherweight feel. I love those adjectives. I don't think I've ever heard those in a foundation description before. It gives light coverage with a natural finish, and it's good for normal, dry, combination, and oily skin. It offers undetectable coverage with a silky, breathable feel. Innovative silica-coated pigments blur imperfections, while the nutrient-infused formula helps visibly smooth and refine for a more even-toned complexion. This is a very watery foundation. One of the most watery formulas I have ever used. It blends out very, very easily, but it also sets very quickly. So I work in sections. I blend out this area first, then I go here, then I go here. That's how it works best for me. If I try to do my whole face, I just find it just sets too quickly, but it does blend out very, very easily when you blend it out because it's so watery. I find it gives sheer to almost light medium coverage, depending on how you apply it. I like to use a dry sponge, and I can use a brush with it just fine. Those are just my 2 preferred methods. I like to use a dry sponge with foundations like this, like the Chanel Velvet foundation. Those foundations that sheer out a little bit too much with the damp sponge. I'm not really a brush person. I find sometimes brushes can go a little streaky and a dry sponge never does. This is extremely lightweight and it wears for a really long time and it looks like skin. I love that. You will not like this if you do not like light coverage foundations, but it really makes the skin look so beautiful and so healthy. It blurs the pores, it blurs the fine lines, it never settles, it controls the oil. I only have to blot like once in an entire long day with this foundation. It is that good. However, I totally disagree that this is good for dry skin because the first time I tested this out, I had been trying out some skincare that had given me some, unbeknownst to me, surface dehydration. You know, when you go in with your foundation and you have no idea that anything weird is going on with your skin until you try the foundation and you see all of this dryness with your skin. That's what this did. This emphasized any dryness that I had. I had no idea I had anything going on with my skin until I applied this foundation. So I did my moisturizing masks. I got my skin back in check. Then I started trying this foundation again. Once my skin was in line, this was beautiful. I would not use this if you have dry skin, and that is based on experience. So if you have normal to oily skin and you like a light or sheer to light medium foundation, you might want to check this out. This is really, really nice. Okay, so I have this at the top, but like I said, it's kind of tied with number 2 for very different reasons. This is a surprise for me. I never would have thought that I would like this foundation, much less have it at the top of a list. This is the Laura Mercier Flawless Lumiere Radiance Perfecting Foundation. Hello. Radiance, Lumiere, what is happening here? I just never would think this would work for my skin. This is $48 for 1 ounce of product. There are 30 shades. The shade that I have here is Macadamia. I did have to mix in my Drunk Elephant bronzing serum into this to finish testing it because it's just a hair too light for me. This is a luminous liquid foundation with up to 15 hours of hydration and weightless medium to full coverage for a perfectly glowing finish in any light. It offers medium radiant coverage and it's good for normal, dry, combination, and oily skin, as are all these foundations, right? It's supposed to smooth and soften the look of skin, be weightless, and look and feel like a second skin. It's supposed to give long wear comfort and luminous color true pigments and resist oxidation. This is also an Allure Best of Beauty Award winner. This blends out very, very easily. And I find it to be buildable from medium to a solid medium full coverage, and it looks very natural. I love the luminous radiant finish that it gives because it doesn't make me look greasy. Sometimes luminous radiant finishes make me look greasy. This doesn't. It blurs the pores, but it never settles into any creases that I have, you know, these little forehead areas. It does not settle there or emphasize that. I feel like it blurs that area nicely. It's not tacky on the skin the way a lot of luminous, dewy, radiant foundations can be. I just find with oily combination skin, this is my own personal experience, that they can break up in certain areas during the day. This doesn't. This actually lasts a long time on my skin and it feels good. And even if I do have to blot, which I don't have to blot a lot with this, which is very surprising, I don't have a greasiness that needs to be blotted. It's just a normal shine. I feel like out of this whole bunch, this is the one foundation that truly lives up to the all skin types claim. Normally when I think of luminous radiant foundations, they are mostly for normal to dry skin, but this one worked so well for my oily combination skin. I really feel like any skin type can wear it. If you have not seen my best of worst of 2019 videos, I will have a link here in the corner for you, and they'll also be linked down below. Be sure to catch those. I have some really great things that I loved and hated in 2019. And let me know what foundations you want me to try next and what foundations you've discovered lately that I need to check out. Let me know in the comments down below. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.